Iran thought that striking US troops was a good idea, but it was a terrible miscalculation. Let me explain. Most recently, Iran, through its proxies, launched a drone attack on US base in Jordan that ended 3 lives. The militants were then met with true hellfire. USA launched the attack directly after the president greeted the bodies of the soldiers in DC. The official statement was, "Our response began today. It will continue at times and places of our choosing." That sentence just shows complete domination. We know where you are, we can hit you at any time, and you can't do shit to stop it. Dozens of B-1 bombers flew all the way from the US in a non-stop show of force. 85 confirmed targets were hit, and the US only used 125 precision munitions. Number of casualties on the militant side is unknown, but honestly no one cares anyway. US let the Iranian side know 3 days in advance about the strikes. They then tracked the militant movements and also hit the newly discovered bases. The lesson is simple: actions meet consequences, and do not mess with US soldiers.
Why did US helicopters in Vietnam fly with the doors open? Let me explain. Imagine any photo or movie of the Vietnam War. You've likely seen soldiers sitting at the side of the cabin or with their legs hanging out while the chopper flies at over 100 miles per hour. There were various reasons for this. These specific helicopters were not initially constructed with mounted machine guns, so the doors had to be opened or taken out to use the guns mounted on the helicopter. Loading and unloading soldiers and goods went far more quickly with both doors open, which is especially important when you're in combat situations. Secondly, it helped to ventilate a possibly overheated and dirty cabin. However, you might be asking how the soldiers didn't just fall out of the moving helicopter. The answer is primarily physics-based. As a helicopter speeds, centrifugal and centripetal forces operate on the helicopter, keeping everyone inside. But if the laws of physics weren't sufficient enough to guarantee safety, or the ride was particularly bumpy, soldiers could always strap in. Share your thoughts in the comments.
The 3 weakest militaries in the world. The first will surprise you. At number 3, Costa Rica. They have survived without a military for over 70 years, but they do have the public force, with about 12,000 officers that handles enforcement and border patrol. Only a few years ago, the United States donated 3 patrol boats, 2 interceptors, and 4 helicopters. However, none of them are armed. Number 2, Monaco. Monaco has no formal military and invests little on defense. Since it's the second smallest country in the world, Monaco relies on France for its defense. But they do have 2 small units, one of which is responsible for civil defense and firefighting, and the other for guarding the prince and the judiciary. Monaco has roughly 120 troops in total. And finally, number 1 is Bhutan. This tiny Southeast Asian landlocked country is more famous for its monks than its armed forces. With only 7,000 soldiers and a 15,000 square mile area, it only has 27 armored vehicles and 2 helicopters. Should the US be on this list?